Hi, it's Malcolm Ailes from Full Contact Software. Today I'm going to be talking to you about lifetime value of students and how you can work that out. Now, I'm a member of a few Facebook groups and I've heard this mentioned before. People saying, until you understand the lifetime value of your clients, you will probably never invest enough into your business and knowledge to be able to reach your full potential. And I've heard, a lot of times the customer lifetime value talked about, and so we were able to do that in Club Administrator. A lot of people might not be able to aware how to do that though. So that's prompted me to show you exactly how to do that. So in Club Administrator, when you open it up and it looks something like this, you may not have seen this yet. This is the new automation manager that will be included in the next release of Club Administrator. But other than that, this is exactly the same as what you'll be using. If you click here on the finance menu, and then click on income per member, the last report here. You'll see it says income per member analysis. Now, your report end date, just leave it for today's date. Length of period. Now, if you haven't been using Club Administrator very long, you might want to change this to a shorter period than 6 months. To calculate the lifetime value of your member, you need to look at, break it down into periods. And if you haven't got that much data in your database, having a shorter period is going to enable it to include more data. That'll make a little bit more sense when you look at the reports. Number of periods, I'd often change this to 12 months. We'll leave it at 6 months because that's going to be good for most people. And I'll just change the number of periods to 20. So we've got a lot of data to look at. Promotion cost allowance. When you're doing gradings and so on, you're putting in your grading fees, people are paying those to you. You're probably having to buy belts and that aren't included as a actual cost against the individual member. Putting an allowance in here for that. If you've got grading fees you pay to another organization or something, you might be paying a $5 or $10 promotion fee per member. I know a lot of clubs do. Then you include that in here as well. Same with your annual fee cost allowance. If you're paying affiliation fees or something per member to another organization, or it might be insurance fees if you've got member accident insurance, for instance, and a lot of the time people will be paying you an annual fee to cover that, but then you'll be actually paying some of that out. So that's just to allow for those things. Now, we click on build data, it'll start analyzing all the data in your database. It's going to go through and look at all your fees that are coming in. That's the most obvious thing, I guess. That'll include your internal fees, any external fees for like your direct debit payments and so on. It's important you are entering those into your database. You're able to do that automatically through Club Administrator with an upload, or there is the option as well to have integrated payment processing where you can manage everything from within Club Administrator. If you're not sure about that, just flick us an email and I can give you all the details on that. It'll also be including, as I mentioned, all your grading fees in here. It'll be including your profit from sales. It's including all your sales information in your profit analysis report, so it'll only include your profit. So as long as you've got all your costs set up in Club Administrator, then it'll be deducting the cost of each sale and only including the profit. Anything else that's being entered in here, it gets included. But that's the main things that your members will be paying you for. Will be sales for merchandise or anything, grading fees, training fees, any sessional classes or anything like that. Again, they'll all be included in here. Now, to go through and calculate this data, I've got 20 years of data in this database, so it takes a little while. It takes about probably 3-4 minutes. You can see it's just getting to the end of that now. It's going through analyzing active students by periods. I'll just pause this for a second and then we'll come back when it's finished. Oh, I didn't really need to pause that. It actually finished just as I was pausing it. Okay, so now you can see by default it comes up with average profit per member enrolled. Now, if we want to look at the lifetime value of our member, here is what we want to look at. We want to look at the cumulative average profit per member involved, per member enrolled. This is going to give us the lifetime value. Now, there's a number of custom reports set up here. You can configure your own as well, but we're just going to look at this one report because this is going to give us that customer lifetime value that you're often hearing people talk about. And if I just click on report, it's going to come up with a ton of data, and I can hear you saying now, oh my God, how do I understand this? Okay. What we've got here across the top of our report is the transaction periods. So down the side here we have member start date, member started. So this row here is for members who started between April 16 and October 16. So if they started in October 16, 6 months after October 16, they'll have accumulated 6 months of data. So that'll be through to April 16. So that will get April 17. Sorry. So that will give us that's that figure there. So anyone who started between April 16 and October 16, this is what in the first 6 months of their training, the profit you've actually made out of them. You go down to the next row here, the people who started between October 15 and April 16. This is what the profit you made from them in their first 6 months. This is the profit you made from them in their first year. So this is their 1 year profit. This is their 6 month profit. Here, 6 month profit for the next period, 6 month profit, 6 month profit, and so on. So as you look down this column here, this is what people are paying. This is the profit you're making in the first 6 months of them enrolling. So if I go back to 2011, I was making $400 when I enrolled someone in their first 6 months. It's gone up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and the last full period we've got here is $576. If I look at how much we're making in the first year, if I go way back to here, we were down at in the first year, we're making $600, $800, $900, $700, $800. We're up to around about $1,000 in the first year. We go down to 2 years. So this is how much I'm currently making on average in the first 2 years. Now this figure here is what I consider my customer lifetime value. Is how much am I going to make out of someone who walks in the door today? In the first 2 years they're going to be in my school, and it's $1,758. I'll get 1,000 of that in the first year, 750 of that in the second year. So only looking at the first year, I feel like that doesn't give me a true customer lifetime value. They're worth a lot to me in that second year. If I go down to 3 years, it's up to $1,900. So you can see now there's only another $250 in there. It's still a significant amount. We still want those people, but that, as I say, you know, for me, 2 years is my customer lifetime value. Now, if I look over time, that's gone up reasonably steadily. You can see that it was at 900, it went up, it dropped back a little bit, it's gone up, and it's gone up, and now we're at $1,700. If I drop down to 5 years, okay, if we wanted to look at our 5-year customer lifetime value, $2,300. So for the average person who walks in the door in the first 5 years, we're going to get $2,300 out of them. Obviously, most of them aren't going to be here. There's going to be hardly any left, which is why in that last 6 months, we've only really made, on average, what do we make? $40 per person. We made 250 there. Now, you're going to get quite a bit of variation. Obviously, if we've got 3 people that are left from this period here, still at 5 years, then that's going to have a big influence than if we only had 1. So that's why you can have some jumps in these figures, because it's all due to the specific numbers of how many people are still paying you money that's going to influence these average figures. That gives you there their lifetime value. And as I said, here I did 20 periods, so we can go down here and we can see on average what we're making off people in the first 10 years. And way back in 2011, I was making $1,200 off of them, and now I'm making $2,800. So that's, if $2,800 is the 10-year value. Currently, 2,300 is the 5-year value. 1,700 is the 2-year value. So I'm making another $1,000 after the first 2 years. But for me, that's the lifetime value that I use, is $1,700. Some people are trying to tell me that they use the first year value. Personally, I think that's too short. Personally, when I look at my data, it tells me I should be looking at the 2-year value. You may feel differently. There's a lot of other reports here. You can look at the average per member still enrolled. By doing that, if you look at the cumulative paid per member still enrolled here, and we do a report, what that tells you is if somebody stays enrolled, it takes out the value for all the people that have dropped out. So now if somebody stays enrolled for 2 years, the value of that member is $2,816. Now with my database, this is only people who have completed a trial and actually enrolled in our program and paid minimum of 16 weeks they're going to enroll for. So that's the lifetime value. Thank you, people. Hang on, sorry about that. I just got a call from one of my software customers. Anyway, so that's our lifetime value. Like I said, this is here the amount that someone, if they stay enrolled, would be paying. And you can see if they stay enrolled for 5 years, it'll be $6,000, not $2,000. All right, so there's a lot of, there's all these reports set up, but you can configure your own. If you select configure your own, you can see you might just want to look at your sales profit. You can just select your sales profit and configure whether you want it by period or a cumulative total, whether you want it for the average of members enrolled or for the current members enrolled. There's all of these options. You can do as much reporting and playing with your data to help understand your business as you'd like. Hope you've got something out of this. Have a great day. See you guys.